if you close your eyes and you can't visualize yourself being there, being at your top goal, seeing yourself taking the big scary steps, you're literally blocking yourself from success. So in this video, I'm going to share the secrets of how I fixed my problem and how you can fix it too. And I'm also going to show you the 3 most common mistakes that people do when trying to visualize. Until I was 23 years old, I didn't question anything about my imagination, my visualization, until people started asking me about my childhood. And when I was thinking about my childhood, I was thinking about the memories. My mind would just turn black. And I further realized it when I was trying to buy furniture. And I would visualize and try to see this item in my apartment or in my house. And I couldn't see how it would look like. I just couldn't imagine. I used to say that I didn't have a sense for it and I didn't remember my childhood. But then I realized that the problem wasn't actually in that, but it was in my ability to visualize and my ability to imagine things. The reason some of the studies of people with aphantasia, I think it's aphantasia, they just say that they're fine without it. They say it's fine, but you're not here because you want to be fine. You are here because you want to use the visualization to create more peace, more abundance, more confidence in your life. Just like we said, your brain only shifts from experiences. So either you go and throw yourself out in life and you just go all in, or you create these experiences in your mind first so that it gets easy and effortless. So you don't have to ruin and completely mess up your whole nervous system trying to do something that is a little bit scary. First of all, the biggest lie that people say about visualization is that either you can do it or you cannot do it. There's something that your brain does with functions in your body or in your mind that if you don't use something, you get worse. It basically says if it's not growing, if your muscle is not growing, it's dying. Same thing if you don't use your muscles. If you break your leg, your leg muscle will get really, really weak and it will just start getting smaller and smaller and smaller. You've never seen it smaller than it was. Same thing if you don't use your memory, if you don't use your visualization, it's the same thing. It's a muscle that has to be trained. So visualization is not something you can do or not can't do. Some people used it their entire life and they continue to use it. Some people used it until they were kids and then they stopped using it because maybe they didn't need it for their work, and then they wake up 5 years later and they realize they can't visualize or they can't memorize things because they can't visualize. The easiest way to have a memory is to visualize something and attach an emotion to it, because the emotion tells the subconscious mind that it's of importance. In our nervous system, in our brain, there are centers that needs to be activated. And one of those centers is the visual center. And that visual center, if it's not used, these neurons are never activated. And if they're not activated, they don't grow, they don't connect with the other. And what the brain does then is it turns it off. It doesn't use it because then it can save energy. Just like now you're on GPT all the time. Studies showing that people are getting worse and worse imagination, and also the ability to think for themselves, of being creative, of using intuition is going down because you're not using these centers or these neurons. So your sense of being able to visualize is actually just needs activation. It needs training. So everything changed for me when I was reading this book, and it's over 100 years old. And it's about visualization and the power of belief. And in this book, I realized that the author, Charles F. Haniel, he said that, I don't think that anyone can visualize. So he started from less than the basic, and he started from the easiest thing ever. And the only thing he wanted you to do was to sit still. And this is all in my free visualization course, also in the description below. What he said, just do the easiest thing, and then you start to train the muscle of visualization. Just small steps. And I realized after a week or two that my visualization started to get better. And the more it got better, the more I wanted to use it. Because if you look at any manifestation techniques, any visualization techniques to get what you want in your life, or removing mental blocks or shifting your beliefs, to be able to visualize things and feeling emotions. So when I started being able to visualize, I realized I can now start feeling emotions and I can start using it for creation of my life. I realized that it was just my muscle that hadn't been worked out. The 3 most common mistakes that people usually do when it comes to visualization is, number 1, the inability to relax. And I think this is where meditation ties into visualization, but just the ability to relax. That's really important. If you can't relax, if you can't get your brainwave states down, you won't be able to visualize that easily. Or even more importantly, you won't be able to feel the emotions when you visualize. If you just have a neutral thought, that's not going to change anything, because the subconscious mind answers on emotion. That's the only real thing we can touch between the conscious and the subconscious mind. So it's emotions, it's feelings. That's what you're trying to create. It's always emotions. The second problem is just going too fast forward. You think you're going to be an absolute king. It's like going to the gym, trying to bench 225 the first time you go. It's not going to happen. You have to practice a couple of times, maybe for your whole life for some people. Third thing is really, really important. We live in a stressed out world, and visualization and meditation actually is about focused attention. When we think about hypnosis, it's about focused attention on one singular object and moving all other things away. So stress, pain in your body, anger, anxiety are making it harder for you to visualize right now. So what we need to do first is to learn how to relax, learning how to let go of anger, learning how to let go of stress, learning how to clarify things so you don't have to have that anxiety, or how to reframe things in your mind, in your thinking, so you don't have to have that anxiety. Things are only bad or good because we decide that they are. And once you have the power of your mind, once you know how to visualize, once you know how to shift your thoughts, your emotions, then life gets a little bit easier. So if you want to stop guessing, if you want to learn how to visualize in a very systematic way and go from beginner to advanced, and then essentially start applying this into your life, in different areas of your life, in your business, in your life, in your work, maybe in your relationships, then you can get the free course in the description below.